live.
Hell yeah.
We're
All
up
right,
there.
now we can talk about the allegations
I this
against the
I only
YouTuber you just
why every
discovered.
time as soon as I like started watching Asmongold, he just went radical right.
Yeah. You
As
might
soon
be
as I started,
cursed.
I might be cursed. As soon as I started defending Hassan, he went radical left
Electrocutes his
and
dog.
electrocutes his dog. The second I'm like vocalizing, I'm like, oh, this is someone I can like put my flag into.
Yeah.
Last year I said Jim Carrey was like my favorite actor, and someone's like sent me a video of him like I don't even want to bring it up, but Jim Carrey had a breakdown after his divorce, I
That's
guess.
tragic because I love Jim
Tragic.
Carrey, so this is bad news for me.
Your heroes have to be dead. That's why Steve Irwin is my number one hero.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have a hero that is
100%.
no longer with us, then they're still open to scandals. So Caleb Hammer, who I just recently started watching, if you don't really know who Caleb Hammer is, he's the host of Financial Audit, where he brings on not even impoverished people, just people who make poor decisions financially, and
Yeah.
tells them the hard truths that they need to hear. And so I just disclosed to our boy PJ here that I was getting into Caleb Hammer, and he told me that Caleb Hammer has some scandals.
I said it's a weird time to be getting into Caleb Hammer.
Ah,
And then
dude.
broke the news.
And he's still like crushed. Like his view count is huge. Like let me
Yeah.
see his
So
most recent.
the main scandal was apparently he had on some guy that said that he wanted to do OnlyFans. But the guy was like very clearly just trying to like bang chicks or whatever.
Okay.
And Caleb's like, you're probably not going to be able to just jump into that market, whatever. So then he drunk calls him later and is like, I got a friend who's like in OnlyFans if you're willing to do gay stuff, if you're willing to, and then he like goes on a whole, it's like a obscene thing. If you're willing to, lick balls or take on the butt, he's like, and he's belching the entire time. And it sounded like Caleb was trying to pressure this guy into doing gay pornography,
He's
choreography.
I swear Caleb has a girlfriend.
It's apparently not as cut and dry as he's. Apparently, he may not be totally straight, at least.
I believe he's like based on like the few interviews I've seen he's at very least an ally and accepting, but I haven't noticed him. Although I did watch a video yesterday of him like he had on like the most racist woman ever who like was like, yeah, I openly say the hard R every day. The,
That's
the
funny.
interview I watched of Caleb Hammer and this woman was incredible. Hold on. I don't think I even finished it. Yeah. So
Income.
her her intro was crazy. She said she hated immigrants and that she says hard R daily, right?
Yeah.
Then it's revealed that her husband is half black, but self hating on his black side, and that he's currently in prison for illegal immigration, illegal smuggling. Like he was smuggling Mexicans.
What the?
Dude, people are so out of touch. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's really ridiculous. The lack of self awareness is incredible. But all right, what did Caleb do? All right, conflict with D'Angelo. I don't know who D'Angelo is.
That's what I
Commentary.
think as it was.
Commentary YouTuber D'Angelo criticized Hammer for utilizing hateful, bigoted, and misogynistic tropes. I don't think he's misogynistic off the
No, it's not that
30
guy.
seconds that
I
I've
don't think
seen.
it's.
Noting his $1,000 financial programs, according to Reddit, in response, Hammer held a 4-hour live stream using abusive language against D'Angelo, threatening legal action. I could believe he's unhinged.
Yeah, yeah.
Allegations of inappropriate conduct, leak alleged text messages, and personal anecdotes sparked accusations of predatory behavior with claims that he made inappropriate comments regarding minors. Gross. He was accused of admitting to these claims they were jokes.
Zeke. It's the one regarding Zeke. Caleb Hammer, Zeke. Zeke.
The first thing is Zeke is the worst guest I have ever seen on Financial Audit. His narcissism, lying, and entitlement is sickening. Quit job, dropped out of school.
Allegations.
Allegations.
The Caleb Hammer allegations.
Hold on, let me go to
Tom
TikTok
Darby.
for the truth.
Yeah.
All right, they're trying to sell me bras.
This was 2 years ago. Okay. I was like, when you said this year, I was like, I feel like it was before that.
Why did it take you? Why is it in TikTok Shop, dude? That's so crazy. That's so funny.
Everyone's wondering why I'm not.
Oh, God, you've seen this guy before. Not Zeke, the other guy that initially broke the claims.
All right. Well, this is biased because it's directly from his own Reddit. Hey Caleb, I've been receiving some disturbing info from guests of your show about inappropriate things you've allegedly asked them to do. Please reach out to me so I can get your side of the story for the video. After a year of Zeke threatening to kill me, doxing me, and harassing me for not letting him come on my show, someone is actually going to platform him. YouTube drama shows you don't have the best reputation. YouTube drama shows don't have the best reputation of journalistic integrity, but I hope Scott is better than most. Who is this? Scott Schaefer? Did he do a video?
That's who it is. That's the real guy. If you look up Scott Schaefer, Caleb Hammer, that's the video that I saw. I'm going to share it with you right now if I can get the link here. Bang. Skip the timestamp piece.
YouTube's most vile creator.
Yeah. That's the one.
Oh, 50 minutes between these two.
Yeah, you probably... Well, this one's 20 minutes.
Caleb Hammer might sue me for this video, and that isn't clickbait at all. He's already threatened legal action against past all of Caleb's legal threats. Let's get into the actual allegations against Caleb. First, we'll be talking about the original accuser of Caleb named Zeke, and then we'll talk about the further alleged text of Caleb. I was
It's pretty zesty looking.
original accuser of Caleb named Zeke.
He's rocking a bob, 2 chains, one's a choker. One's a skull and the other's a cross. All right.
And then we'll
You're
talk
talking
about the
Zeke guy.
Yeah.
further alleged text of Caleb I was given after. What many people don't know is that many of the early guests on Caleb Hammer's show were actually paid actors hired off of a website known as Backstage to appear on the show. Zeke was one of the actors that claims to have found out about Caleb's show from the site.
Oh, he's breaking my immersion. But he said it was the originals. So, hopefully. Damn. He hires actors? Caleb's hiring actors? I didn't know that.
And from the listing Zeke showed me, the offer was quite generous, with an initial small $25 appearance fee, 12 months. Anticipated commission was believed to range from $2,500 to $8,000, depending on video performance. I can't give his side of the story if the commission offer to Zeke was real, or if those payments were ever made, so for now, Caleb's side of the story on that will have to remain a mystery. There is an old posting I have linked below that shows that commission offer, but I've never heard of...
I don't care.
A man-on-man thing.
That's what you got to do in the modern age. Just like, you know what?
Skip through the bullshit.
So what if... Yeah. So what if they touch some kids? Who cares?
I do
You
not.
gotta do the.
I do
You gotta do the
not
Donald Trump route.
believe
You
in
gotta do the
PJ's
MAGA.
beliefs. I'm going to distance myself from.
You just
that
got to do the
statement.
MAGA route now. It's
Well, the
actually.
issue-
How old is 15 really?
Yikes.
issue of the alleged missing payments is important, the bigger issue came up in July of 2022 after Zeke's first appearance on the show, when Caleb ended up leaving a very disturbing audio message on Zeke's phone.
Can tell you're a cool dude, and I want to like.
Oh, I thought you said you didn't want to until you learn more about discussing in person. You don't have to do anything you don't want to be very clear.
If there's anything, any connections that I have, which I've built a lot of connections in Austin, anything that I'm able to kind of link you to, you know, I definitely want to be helpful. The main reason I haven't wanted to have this conversation via text is, sorry, I had to burp. One, I'm not used to OnlyFans. Straight up.
He's doing a Rick and Morty. He's doing a Rick Sanchez.
It's not really my scene. You know, I'm a personal finance dude. I don't really know anything about that. Two, I'm straight. I'm like
I said that like with a question mark.
90% straight. I've definitely fooled around because I'm open-minded.
He's definitely fooling because he's open-minded. Oh man, not his personal life. He should not have been drinking.
And you know, when you get drunk, whatever. But you know, so and this is like
You know when you get drunk and you kiss your friends on the mouth.
a man-on-man thing. But essentially, I think, well, from the conversation I had with him, the pay will be dependent on what you're willing to do, and what you're willing to do is set by you. So what he would like to do, you guys make out. He would like to do that. What he would like you guys to do, him fill you up. He would like to do that.
This is so weird. Well, what's the scandal here? That he offered. Because Zeke came
he
on and
just
said that he wanted to do
offered-
OnlyFans with women, and Caleb was like, all right, well, I have this dude.
I don't remember all the details. There was a section of that video called Poopgate, though. So, I don't know. We'll figure out. Look, I don't recall the details. I've already, like I said, I've already exonerated Caleb in my mind, you know. I'm like, who cares? What's the worst he could have done?
That.
Who knows or cares?
However, despite that, Caleb has confirmed on his Reddit, as well as in emails to me, that the voicemail you heard is 100% him, and he makes no claim to it being altered in any way. What is disputed about that voice message is why it was left, with Caleb and Zeke having very different stories. And with other men,
I hate YouTube drama channels.
Yeah.
All right, whatever. Forget that. Let's solve the Middle East.
Yeah. All right. So I guess the first thing we'll dive into is the terms of our surrender to Iran.
The terms of our surrender to Iran.
Yeah, I was about to do a Jimmy. What the hell's his name? Jimmy Palmer. Did you hear about this? Did you hear about this?
Did you hear about this? You know about this? You know
yes.
about this?
So Iran ceasefire terms. So apparently Trump agreed to these terms for the ceasefire. So I'm gonna pull up the terms because I think you said as of yesterday that this was news to you, correct?
I believe so.
All right, 10-point lists. Let me know if you're ready.
I'm
Buckle
ready.
up.
Can you also send it to me so I can pull it up on stream? You can just link it in the Discord.
All right. I'm gonna read them out to you first so you can process.
It says Iran chose
All
not
right.
to accept our terms, according to JD Vance and
So-
BBC.
Say, I wanted you to listen.
Okay.
Close the screen and listen.
Okay,
All right. I
I'm
want
listening.
you to hear my delivery.
All right, got it.
My
Got it.
sensual voice.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, fundamental commitment to non-aggression from the U.S. Okay, that's literally just one half of a ceasefire.
All right,
That's
we
fine.
won't. Right.
Controlled passage through the Strait of Hormuz in coordination with Iranian armed forces, which would mean that Iran maintains retains its leverage over the waterway.
Okay.
In other words,
All right.
This
So
is
we're
kinda
back
like a
to
summary.
back to ground zero.
yeah, well, it's even more than that. They're keeping their the toll booth active in the Strait of Hormuz,
Love it.
which they didn't have before. But
Awesome. Fantastic.
now that we've started the war, the ceasefire, one of the terms is we're going to keep the toll booth.
No,
Okay,
I don't think
3.
enough of my taxes were going to foreign entities, so I'm happy about this.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Or
that-
just oil. Yeah. So, all right. An acceptance of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. In other words, we just have to let them enrich uranium.
Okay.
So,
Which is funny because I
you know, the
swore
reason-
we've completely obliterated their nuclear program twice now, but you know,
right.
I'm not the most literate. Let's go next.
Now the term is we just have to say, you know what? You want a nuclear weapon, go for it.
Right.
So, okay, number 4. This is only number 4 out of 10.
Right.
The lifting of all
Strong
primary
start.
and secondary sanctions against Iran.
So
So,
now we're taking the sanctions off. Okay.
all of the sanctions we've had on for 30 years,
Mm-hmm.
poof, gone.
Word.
The end of all resolutions against Iran at the International Atomic Energy Agency. And following this, the end of all resolutions against Iran by the United Nations Security Council. So basically, the UN has to also accept that they're going to try to enrich uranium and also, like, you know, not consider them a terrorist state anymore.
Okay.
So it's not just us; it's coordination
With the UN.
Here's a
Okay.
big one. This is a doozy. Numero siete.
Oh, really? Because we already we were starting. I don't know. Okay. Where do you go from here?
The withdrawal of all U.S. combat forces from all bases in the region.
Is that Iranian region or the Middle East?
The Middle East.
What?
Number 8. Full compensation for damages suffered by Iran during the war.
Oh my God.
To be secured through payments to Iran by ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz. So it sounds like we're going to have to pay an extra toll on top of the existing toll to pay reparations.
Okay.
The release of all Iranian assets and properties frozen abroad. So as part of the sanctions, if you do find that like someone from Iran is trying to like send a wire or a check or whatever, you're supposed to freeze those assets.
Okay.
So releasing that. And then the ratification of all these matters in a binding United Nations Security Council resolution, making it international law.
Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
All right, so I'll send that link over. This is the ceasefire terms which we've temporarily agreed to. Trump said this is a reasonable basis for us to move forward on.
From Al Jazeera, huh?
Yeah, I did notice that, but I mean, look, every
No, I
outlets,
genuinely, apart from like the bias they have, I mean, who doesn't have a bias these days? But I think they
Yeah,
have a
exactly.
bit of a bias. But I don't think their bias is necessarily like the worst thing. Like I think the bias that Al Jazeera has in conjunction with Palestine is similar to
yeah,
what
I don't think they're a pro-Iranian bias. They're probably a pro like Palestinian / Gulf state bias. Generally.
But what I was saying is I think what your commentary on Al Jazeera doing is similar to what Hassan does in the sense that you denounce Hassan because you feel like he's too I don't know, transparent, honest at points, and it is
yeah, that's
negatively
my critique. It's too honest.
he's his radical views, which are not always incorrect, are negatively
Give me
affecting
one
the
sec.
Democratic Party. Hello?
One sec, come on.
Uh-oh.
Penny pasta with broccoli and what? Okay. I'll have some in a little bit. talk to them about it right now. All right, awesome. I might grab a bowl and bring it back up and launch what we chat.
What an
All
L.
right, thank you. Love it. All right, my bad.
You're good.
So what's interesting about this, the terms of this peace agreement, that I think we literally can't. So I've already heard people on like Fox News trying to say like
From
this
Al
is the
Jazeera
best
to Fox
possible-
News.
Say what?
It's from Al Jazeera to Fox News.
Yeah, so I've heard people on Fox that are somehow still pro-MAGA trying to sell this as like this is the best possible outcome given where we are. Like the president was wrong to go to war, but now that we're at war, this is like the best possible outcome. And I don't think it is, because if we're withdrawing all troops from the region, that's a violation of the security agreement that we have with Saudi Arabia, which in turn is like the deal that underpins the petrodollar, and the dollar being the world U.S. reserve currency. So like, I think we're actually fucked if we agree like to some sort of permanent terms for any of this shit. So now, right from the rip, I'll say that Israel's apparently been playing very fast and loose with these terms, because Israel hasn't so far agreed to them yet. And so they were like, you know, it's not in the terms that we can't bomb Lebanon, so they've just been going at it, bombing Lebanon during this interim period. To be fair and balanced, they are blowing up Hezbollah, so, but also, it is kind of a dick move. It feels like.
At this point, I just have no interest in the Middle East, and I just want to pull out like in its entirety. Like
I tried to tell you, man. I tried to tell you.
But
it's too complicated. It's too fucked up.
We need to just come home and build a strong base. Like that's what needs to be our major focus. Is like we need to spend instead of what was it, like a $1.4 trillion budget for the military, I want us to start building homes at home.
Yeah, well,
Like-
here's the problem. Is isolationism is literally what got us into this mess in the first place.
At what point was the U.S. ever isolated?
It wasn't, but that was the goal. That was one of the things Trump ran on. He didn't use the word isolationism, which we all know he couldn't spell, much less define.
Tell me more. What about Trump's campaign has like come to fruition? Like, please, like.
Project 2025. Or you're saying like?
Because like
which of
we
his
obviously,
promises
I
is
mean, I'm just so tired of winning. You know, we've solved.
Yeah, dude.
We solved
It's
the immigration.
exhausting.
I'm just so sick of winning. We solved immigration. We solved the Middle East. We've won 8 wars.
But we ended 8 wars, but
Right.
we won this one, which also wasn't a war. It was a military operation. But if it was a war, we won it.
Oh my god.
Get it straight, dumbass.
Dude. I just like. I hate that I've been put into a situation where I'm forced to agree with Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, and Marjorie Taylor Greene.
True, dude. It's
just
crazy,
like-
right?
I think that is the most evil thing that this administration has done, is
Yeah.
force me to agree with them.
He really did unite America, Trump.
Right.
He united us against him. So anyway, I don't know. Reading through those terms, that sounds like the terms of an unconditional surrender, basically, if we were to agree to that for like a more permanent ceasefire. Low key, Israel might save us by not agreeing to those terms and just blasting Iran.
Our Lord and Savior, Israel.
Yeah, dude. Which is making me wonder if
Our true government.
Yeah, it's making me wonder if maybe this was a long play by Israel to like get us to do something fucking stupid that we like basically can't get out of now. Well, of course that was part of the play.
At this point, I
But,
would say like APAC, Israel's like starting to genuinely be a problem. Like take control. I really, I don't understand why we're still funding Israel. It's like we send them billions of dollars as a government so that they can give like a select few government officials payouts under the table.
Well, there actually was a really good reason for us funding Israel, which was projecting power in the Middle East, so that
Sure,
way
no,
one
of course,
tried to take control
that's
of the
our
Strait of
strongest ally in the Middle East. I totally understand that aspect
Hormuz.
of
Right.
it.
So that no one would try to take control of the Strait of Hormuz
But you know,
specifically. That's
why?
why.
You know why Bibi Netanyahu has to maintain, like, he has to keep the wars going because they
you're
can't.
asking if I
Yeah.
I mean, it keeps him in office, probably. Like, you know.
Apart from that, like, he can't enter any legal scrutiny. Like, he can't be held accountable for his actions as long as Israel is in an ongoing conflict.
Okay.
So, like, he's like multiple people want to, like, I gotta see. It's like multiple countries are trying to arrest him for war crimes.
Yeah.
And like legally, because they're in active conflict, he's
right.
He doesn't have to answer for them.
Okay.
So it's like in his best interest to stay out of jail to just continue to bomb children.
Right. Smart. You know.
It's the long play. It's the long play. You wear them down.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
so anyway,
the Epstein files are getting too hot. Let me start bombing Iran.
Yeah.
And then
there was some great tweets like that. That was one tweet that was like, I can't believe I have to pay $4 for a gallon of gas just because the president's a pedophile.
I guess his wife's not on board though. You saw his wife.
Yeah. So let's get into that. As if we're doing news, so two aspects of this. First, and you already touched on this, Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and others have started to turn on Donald Trump. So he, in turn, put out a tweet saying that they have been attacking him for years, which is obviously stupid.
Like attacking your Glazers.
He said it's because they're low IQ individuals. But now even his wife is separating herself. I didn't see that.
I feel like she's just getting ahead. Like she knows like shit's about to hit the fan, and she's like, "Look,
the end is here. The end is nigh."
Right. I've been rich my whole life, so I just ran into Epstein a few times. I never hung out with him and partied with him. I don't know what Trump was doing.
Oh man. So, yeah, this is we'll see what happens, I guess.
Wait and see has been like the entirety of this administration. It's just been like, it's been absolutely insane, nonstop.
Yeah.
I really am sick of winning.
Yeah, too bad.
I have had enough.
Too bad.
Oh my goodness. So I think the main subject matter of today was supposed to be about Hassan, whether or not he's net good for society or Democrats in general. Is that what you wanted to
Yeah,
talk?
yeah.
All right. But so let me.
Yeah,
let's get it. I'm excited. All right.
All right.
So today's discussion is Hassan. Let's start with, is he good for Democrats? And then we'll see, is he good for society? All right. Yeah. So what are your talking points as to whether or not Hassan is good for Democrats specifically?
My claims, as we would say in the debate sphere. So my biggest claim is going to be that he's outright damaging to Democrats because he has consistently failed to endorse Democratic candidates. He often describes the Democrats as being the second side of a two-sided coin or whatever the fuck the phrase is. But
I feel like he I feel like he denounces conservatives far more than Democrats. And I think he, as much as he critiques AOC and even Bernie Sanders, I feel as if he's still says that they're better candidates.
And what about other like Gavin Newsom, other candidates?
Just
or
recently, he is harsh on Gavin Newsom, but just recently, after the Atrioc debate or Atrioc conversation, like he even says Newsom's strategy is working. That's like one of his most recent. But I
saying
think
his strategy is working is such a that's not an endorsement. That's an acknowledgement at best.
he just calls him out for his bullshit, like his capitulation to Ben Shapiro.
Let me finish my claim.
I'm sorry. In Trump's America, I thought you just talk over your opponent until the timer's
that at
up.
least starts after the person says their claim usually.
No, from the rip. Don't let him get a breath.
Anyway, his treatment of Democratic candidates in the Democratic Party, especially treating it as if it's in any way can be equated to the Republican Party, is outright toxic. Democrats already have a serious hurdle in that one of their biggest constituent populations, which are the youth, are already some of the least likely to vote. And so using this sort of disincentivizing language, talking about how they're just another, side of the same coin, and how they're no different than Republicans on X, Y, and Z issues, is just going to further disincentivize people from voting at a minimum. People who otherwise would support Democratic candidates. And then he does endorse these third-party candidates that are obviously not going to win elections, that only, would ever win elections in areas or districts that are like plus 30 for Democrats already.
Do you have an example?
Yeah, so Jill Stein is one that he's like championed over and over and over.
But Jill
again,
Stein was Jill Stein had great policies. Like I think the reason he says and does these things is because
I'm not done my claim yet. We're getting
okay.
there. And look, I'm sure Jill Stein's a nice lady, but she's not going to win the election like Kamala had the potential to do.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he's effectively consistently siphoning votes off of Democratic candidates, or basically sabotaging them in any sort of elections. And he's not the only one. I'm not trying to act like Hassan is exclusively the reason that Trump got elected, but it's important to recognize that he is not good for the Democratic Party. And this is before we even get into some of his policies. But it's like trying to form a coalition with someone who's actively damaging you.
Can I respond?
I'll start with that claim.
All right. So my interpretation of what you're saying is, and what Hassan does, is a little bit different. I think he critiques conservatives, rightfully so, for some of their like egregious views on immigration and how to act in the Middle East. So I think already, like, he puts a line in the dirt, just right then and there. And then two, I think he critiques Democrats for being too moderate and not leaning into what the left actually wants. I think when he critiques Kamala for being too moderate and saying that Israel still has the right to defend itself, I don't think he's off base. Do I think it might be have a negative impact on Democrats? Perhaps. But I also think it is I think it's an appropriate critique, and that it forces Democrats to have to go further left. I don't think it's meant to denounce Democrats, as it more is meant to force them to enact policies that are more left-leaning, as opposed to capitulating to the right just to, – appease them, because the right isn't going to capitulate.
Okay, may I respond?
Of course.
So, a couple things. One, who's even to say that pushing the proverbial Overton window further left is even good for the Democratic Party? I know that we all want to live in a Sweden or a Norway or whatever, one of the Nordic countries that has
Sure.
universal health care, but the fact of the matter is we have a certain culture in the United States, and not every average American is on board with switching to the Nordic model, whether it's due to propaganda from Fox or whatever. Not everyone's willing to completely embrace an even further left platform than what the Democrats are already proposing. And you need to look no further than the fact that Gavin Newsom himself was blasted and, lied about using water for the wildfires to save some sort of endangered fish in California. It obviously wasn't true and was like a huge distortion of the truth, but you have to figure that the average person is not a
Going further than
super
the
left-wing
headline.
commie. Yeah, so first of all, I would question whether pushing candidates or trying to force candidates to go further left is even a good thing.
Well, I mean, like, the problem with like Kamala, apart from her, whatever her issues were, she wasn't a Democratic candidate. Like, she wasn't. I think she'd be better than Trump, sure, but I think, like, just specifically using the Israel-Palestine conflict as like our baseline, like, it's conservative view to say Israel has a right to defend itself and bomb 124 different hospitals. I think the left view is that we should stop the genocide. And when asked that on the campaign trail, instead of denouncing the genocide, which would have been the Democratic viewpoint to stop bombing hospitals, she capitulated. She said Israel has a right to defend itself,
So,
first and foremost, which is
things.
the moderate view.
Couple things. First of all, as much as I appreciate you trying to drag this into an Israel-Palestine debate, that's just not going to happen. So saying that we're going to use that as a quote-unquote baseline is...
I figured that was something we both knew. I didn't want to just leave it generalized as an idea. I wanted to establish
so what
a point.
about using ICE in domestically, deploying them to, I don't know, Michigan or fucking any other blue state?
Did Kamala have a policy on that?
Say what?
That's what I'm saying. Like, on the campaign trail, ICE, I don't think was necessarily a factor. When do you?
No, but it was in Project 2025.
Yes, but
and to act like Kamala and Trump were not that different is still an insane thing to say. Even if Kamala had all of the same policies of Trump, she's at least fucking intelligent. I mean,
that's coping. That's coping. That's coping. If she has all the same policies as Trump, then she isn't fighting for what you believe in just because she's not Trump.
No, but she still probably would have been a better candidate because we at least would have had oil reserves going into the Iran war. I'm not.
Yeah, but I think you
I
can
think
critique. I don't think it's wrong to
think that she would have dragged us into that.
No, I don't think that's the debate here, and I understand that stance, which is why I was like sticking with the baseline. I'm saying specifically, she wasn't getting the Democratic vote because, like, for example, her campaign towards getting, what was it, first-time home buyers get like a discount or something like that. Like, that is like a Democratic. That is a Democratic policy. That, I think, would have been
right,
effective.
but also, like, not denying the results of the 2020 election is a Democratic policy. That's
Sure,
pretty
absolutely,
fucking important.
absolutely.
I think, again, like, so the question becomes, why didn't Hassan give a full-throated endorsement to Kamala over Trump?
I think neither of us I mean, I saw plenty of full-throated endorsement towards Kamala and saying that Kamala would be better towards Trump. But I think in being honest and transparent, you still have to critique your side. I think blind faith in your party is what got us in this situation in the first place. It's the same as any Trumper like ignoring all of the Trump red flags, as opposed to, you know, calling out those things, saying that they are a problem, and then continuing to endorse your side.
How come he's so bashful about talking about who he voted for?
He went to the
He didn't
DMC.
vote for Kamala.
He went to the
Everyone knows
DMC.
He voted for Jill Stein. And there are plenty of clips of him out there saying that the Democrats and the Republicans are the exact same, at least on certain issues.
Yeah, because they both
like Israel,
accept
Palestine.
they both accept AIPAC money. Like you have to like stay within context.
I'm sorry, but
to say-
literally, who gives a shit considering the situation we're in right now?
What do you mean? Elaborate.
Considering we're at war with Iran, ISIS has been invading U.S. cities, intentionally trying to intimidate people until the governors release voter rolls, trying to federalize elections like he has.
So I think we're
Whether or
having
not
two different debates here. I think we're having two different
California
debates
is
here.
So low on my list by comparison that I can't even believe that's a factor.
I understand what you're saying, and I hear you in the saying that like denouncing some of the viewpoints of Democrats can be damaging to Democrats.
It's not just about denouncing viewpoints. It's making an equating two politicians because they both received money from AIPAC, acting like they're no different, is fucking insane considering what we've seen over the past year and change.
So it's easier to say in hindsight. No, for sure. I get what you're saying, and I think it's easy to say that in hindsight post the war in Iran. But at that time, for me, as someone who was left-leaning at the time, I was very critical of what Israel was doing in Palestine, and I feel like that at the point of the election was one of the most important policy topic.
Right, and why? Because your media diet largely consisted of Hassan at that time.
No, I think
the main issue. That wasn't the main issue on everyone's mind. It wasn't. It certainly wasn't overwhelmingly the main issue.
The only thing that we should be doing right now is building homes. Like, we need to come home, strengthen the dollar, and build homes.
Agreed.
But neither politician's running on that campaign, is what I'm saying.
Gavin Newsom is.
But that wasn't who was running. Those weren't the subject matter. Was what was happening at the 2024 election. During the 2024,
the border was a big issue. The economy was a big issue. Project 2025 was a big issue.
Right, and what was Kamala's view on the border? She was also the border czar in the previous administration.
Yeah, but she wasn't talking about deploying ICE domestically, which Donald Trump was talking about even at the time.
ICE wasn't even a factor. That's what I'm saying. Like, ICE
military in U.S. states.
Yeah, that's easy to say now, but in 2024, ICE wasn't even a factor.
He was saying that in 2024.
ICE didn't matter. ICE hadn't killed 2 Americans in 2024.
He didn't say ICE. He was talking about the military, which is even worse somehow. He was saying that he was talking about deploying the Marines and the Army into U.S. cities in 2024.
So in 2024, the 2024 election, what was the biggest news? What was the most important thing happening in 2024?
The most important thing happening? I don't know.
What was the biggest news topic across the globe in 2024?
Oh, across the globe, it was probably Israel, Palestine. But
right, that's what I'm saying. That was what mattered in 2024.
Okay.
Do I agree that it isn't the most important news topic now in 2026? Absolutely. In 2024, when they're running their campaigns, I think
Israel-Palestine, number one issue. All right, let's assume that. On all the next 8 fucking issues, they very clearly differed. We have a historical record of Trump doing damage in the White House. How in the world?
Like, do you think I'm endorsing Trump over Kamala? I voted for Kamala. Like, I think Trump is disgusting. Like,
no, but I'm saying this is why Hassan is a problem, because he wouldn't give full-throated endorsement to Kamala. He claims to be on the left. He wants to be a part of the Democratic Party, but he's trying to use the Democratic Party to his own ends because he doesn't actually support Democrats. He wants, his vision of America is like a far-left socialism, and he sees the Democratic Party as a way to get there at best. But he's talked before about how he's not necessarily pro-democracy. And he's condemning the left and the right way disproportionately to what it should be. Right now, you know,
you think
the analogy I would use is,
he's more
the
critical
analogy
of
I
the
would
left
use
than he is
like-
of the right?
Say what?
You think he's more critical of the left than he is of the right? I don't agree with that.
No, but he's disproportionately way too critical of the left considering the current circumstances. And that goes back to 2024.
I think since his inception, he's been critical of the right. He's been critical of acts in Yemen, Lebanon.
Yeah, but again, equating the left and the right in any capacity from 2024 to now is completely insane to me, and especially.
But I gave you the
look at
reasoning.
numbers-
I think pointing out, because I don't think Kamala's all the way a good person. I think she was too moderate for what I wanted. I don't think any one political
That's fine,
party
that's fair, but then
fully
why
represents
did
my
you
viewpoints.
endorse
That's what
her?
I'm saying. Like, I don't think any one political party fully represents what I want. So
But then
I
why
think
didn't he endorse her?
because of her moderate views of Israel. Because we'd be getting the same
Exactly,
thing, which
exactly.
what mattered in 2024. In 2024, he's saying that
Not to
there.
most people.
Say it again.
It said to him, not to most people. To you and to him, it mattered a lot. But to me, it didn't matter at all. And to most of the people I know who are left wing, it didn't really matter that
But
much.
I don't agree that he wasn't critical of Trump. I think he's super critical of Trump.
I never said that. I've never once said that. You keep acting like I've said that he was not critical of Trump.
But
I've
do
never
I
said
think that him pointing out the flaws in the Democratic Party can hurt the Democratic Party? Sure, I agree with that. But I still think it needs to be said if you have.
It's not just pointing out the flaws either. It's repeating over and over and over again the talking points about critiquing the Democratic Party.
You got to remember, you're looking through the
Pointing
destiny
out the
lens.
points, is one thing, but repeating them every fucking stream is not helping the Democratic Party.
But how can you say that? You weren't actively watching Hassan content. And I at that point in time, I was watching everything. I was watching Hassan, Atroc. I was watching Asmongold because I wanted to see what these radicals were thinking. I was watching Fox because I wanted to see how the Five were going to try to spin this. I was watching CNN, NBC. You feel me? Like, in taking in all of the information from all journalistic views, I still understand why he was critical of the Democratic
I've
Party.
seen more of Hassan than you realize, and he's critical of them more than you realize. And it's not just a matter of being critical; it's about throwing your support behind something.
But that means, like,
And look,
completely.
No, I get it. It's the difference between a shit sandwich and a giant douche or whatever.
Sure, right.
Except the shit sandwich has a gun to your head. And it's like, okay, we might have to go for the giant douche on this one. Like, I'm fucking sorry. The fact that he would not endorse Kamala, the fact that he consistently fails to, support or endorse Democratic candidates if they're not far enough left for him, the fact that he's constantly trying to shift the Overton window more left. I mean, you can say that's a noble effort, but right now there's an issue of pragmatism. We have to be practical. They're trying to fucking steal the elections, the Republicans, in 2026. Right now, as much as it's great to critique the Democrats from time to time, we need to be full blast pointing out how much damage the Republicans have done.
Sure.
If you want to critique the Democrat, fine. Say your critique, move on, and you don't have to bring it up 1,000 fucking times. He's trying to do the thing where he equates.
I know.
the
I
two
feel like he's
parties
trying to
because-
do. I'm trying because he's like he like consistently will bring on AOC and speak with AOC, for example, and at certain
Right,
points
what
in
about,
time,
like,
he still
what about
critiques.
Cory Booker.
Yeah, Cory Booker.
He
Cory Booker.
supports.
Cory Booker did a
supports
filibuster
two
for
Democrats.
nothing. Like I'm still like I I'm critical of the Democrats
Right.
too. I think we were all critical of the Democrats because they're not enacting policies that are making changes loudly enough.
Right.
You feel me? Like I
Right.
don't think being critical of them is necessarily a bad thing if you're
Trump
trying to
was
push
like an
them to.
avalanche.
No, of course, but the intention isn't to get rid of the Democrats. It's to push them to be better. That's what I'm saying. The intent is what matters. The calling out the problems in the Democratic Party, accepting AIPAC fund and things of that nature. I don't think that is meant to get rid of them. Do I think it could have negative effects for people who are not paying attention in fully and who aren't going to do their own research? Sure. But I don't think the intention is to say that the Democrats are equivalent to or are just the conservatives in blue coats. I think he's saying, like, in order to be better Democrats, you need to enact policies and have a backbone. Like, what are we saying? Like Chuck Schumer? Are we saying Chuck Schumer's?
Paved in good intentions. Intention doesn't matter. What effect is he having? The effect is negative. If you go to his chat, people are clearly disincentivized about the electoral system in general. You can read chat messages, and when he says these
Sure,
things,
if you're picking and choosing.
not if you're picking and choosing. If you go to chats from other liberal creators, including Atrioc, they're not necessarily going around saying, oh, they're both the same. Oh, the Democrats are just Republicans in a blue coat. That is a thing that is unique to Hassan and other tankies. It's specifically the hyper left-wing socialist types. And Hassan really is just a stand-in for those right now, but that is a symptom that's unique to them. And it's obvious why.
Why is it obvious? Because he wants to go full socialist?
Because he regularly equates the two parties. He's constantly criticizing Democrats. If you go back and you look at his coverage from 2024, his coverage of the Democrats is pretty brutal, all things considered. He was not openly endorsing Kamala and saying that we need to stop Trump. That was not the message. The message was Kamala is the same as Trump, at least on the Israel-Palestine issue. She's not going to change anything, and I'm not going to say who I'm voting for. That was the message Hassan was saying in 2024. Meanwhile, we knew about Project 2025. We knew that Donald Trump planned to enact it. We knew he was still friends with Steve Miller and all these fucking ghouls. And, like, I said this to you in private, but, you know, or maybe it was someone else, but it was like, okay, the Iran war, it was like a surprise, but it wasn't shocking. Like, if you had time traveled from 2 years ago and told me that this was going to happen, I would say, yeah, probably. Like, it makes sense.
Let's
Given
watch the first
everything
30
else we
seconds.
know
He did a video called "The Problem with Kamala." I want to see his talking point at the very beginning, because the very first thing is someone critiquing him saying, "You're saying you don't want Trump to win, but isn't the only way for Trump not to win is to vote for Kamala?" I don't get it. So I think that encapsulates your viewpoint, and I want to see what his response is to that. If you're down with that.
You don't want Trump to win, but isn't the only way for Trump not to win is to vote for Kamala? I don't get it. Yes, but you do understand, I hope, that there is nothing I can do personally. My point has always been that politicians have to earn your vote. And if they don't do that, if they actually operate on this idea that, like, it's just lesser evil voting, it's just harm reduction over and over again, and
Yeah, do you hear what he's saying? You don't. It's not about voting for the lesser of two evils. Enact policies that the people actually want.
Yeah, but the way that you do that is by electing politicians that advocate for those policies. And
But it was
sometimes
already
that's
too
not always
late.
an
So
option.
who we had at that point in time were Trump and Kamala. Period. So pushing
First of all,
Kamala.
all right.
Right. Go ahead.
He's describing this as a process of perpetual harm reduction. Harm reduction isn't always a bad thing. If you get shot in the fucking leg, you want harm reduction. You don't want to get lead poisoning and bleed out and die. And that's more of a perspective thing than anything that is perpetual harm reduction. It's not like Obama and Biden didn't pass legislation. They passed plenty of legislation. They used
Absolutely.
plenty of executive
100%.
orders.
And I think
So-
often it's overlooked.
Yeah, so I mean, look, did they pass a bill for socialized medicine? No, but that's just not going to fly in most of the country. And
Sure.
there
And I
are
totally understand that.
Democrats in districts that simply cannot vote for that because their constituents are moderate left. So saying that they have to earn their vote, what does Kamala have to do to earn his vote? I mean, to earn a vote over Trump is the big thing, because that was the difference right there. Is it's against Trump. It's not saying who would you vote to be the leader of the earth, and you pick a person and you write their name in. It's not that. It's you have two choices. One of them we know is going to do tangible damage. The other one, you might not like all of their policies, but Jesus Christ, we're fucking bleeding out. Like, democracy is literally...
But I think he starts off by saying, the first thing he says is, obviously we need Trump over Kamala. I think that's like the first thing he says. Like
Yeah, but it's so minor, because then he goes on this rant about voting about perpetual harm reduction, and
he's trying to strengthen the voter. The vote, the people we elect need to... The people who want to be elected need to earn the respect of the voter. Is what he
So that's a great message for primaries, when we're trying to figure out the candidate to run. But when it's the presidential election, it's kind of late for that.
Well, I mean, she didn't win, and I am saying, like, her choosing the moderate route wasn't effective.
I mean, I don't think it was just her going the moderate route. I think that Donald Trump and MAGA in general, had an incredibly effective media ecosystem built up that they were able to use to message very effectively.
Well, thank God.
I think that a lot of Democrats miscalculated the exact threat that Trump posed. They thought that we were done with him after Biden won, and that we had learned our lesson, and that they didn't have to go out and vote to, prevent him from getting elected a second time. I think that Kamala maybe wasn't as effective in choosing which podcast to go on to spread her message.
Agreed.
But I don't think that whether or not she accepted AIPAC money is something that was even on most people's minds.
Let me see the
You're
the
saying
next 30
you don't want
seconds.
Trump to win, but isn't the only way for Trump not to win is to vote for Kamala? I don't get it. Yes, but you do understand, I hope, that there is nothing I can do personally. My point has always been that politicians have to earn your vote. And if they don't do that, if they actually operate on this idea that, like, it's just lesser evil voting, it's just harm reduction over and over again, in every election cycle, they will not work to earn your vote. And therefore, many people, a plurality of voters that don't go out and vote, will continue to not go out and vote. Okay? That's my point.
So I want to hear your thoughts on just that specific message that he said.
Yeah, so if Republicans keep getting elected over and over and over again,
Okay.
how do you think Democrats are going to change? Do you think they're going to go farther left, or do you think they're going to try to meet in the middle to capture some of those voters as the Overton window shifts to the right?
I think it differs. But I think that's a nuanced
Leadership-
answer. I think that's nuanced. I think that depends on the
The
person.
leadership sets the tone.
Okay.
I mean, let's not pretend like Donald Trump doesn't set the tone for the United States, for U.S. politics.
Sure. But it's not like all.
So-
I don't think we're all in
If
agreement.
Democrats aren't getting elected, we think going further left is going to make them get more votes as the country as a whole seems to go more to the right?
Well, the parameters of the debate were whether Hassan is good or bad for Democrats. Not just
This was your question.
No.
asked it.
I'm saying if the question I don't think I see what you're saying in terms of specifically the Trump-Kamala election. I think some of his critique of Kamala had a negative effect and would negatively affect people who voted for her. I can understand that. But I don't think him critiquing both sides, whether it's Democrat or Republican, is wrong or bad for people, you know? I don't think...
No, but so then do you concede that it's bad for the Democratic Party, which was the initial claim?
I think bad for the election. I will concede and say that specifically for the Trump-Kamala election, that him critiquing Kamala so heavily had a negative impact on people who would vote for her. And I think that regardless, Trump going on flagrant, Joe Rogan, J.D. Vance going on Theo Vaughn, I think regardless, just because they ran a better campaign and she wasn't doing these podcasts, that she was like losing regardless, whether he critiqued her or not. So it's difficult for me to say. I don't think he was the sole reason that Kamala didn't get elected.
I don't either.
But
I don't think he's a net positive.
I think going forward, his critiquing could be though, because it then forces Gavin Newsom and the next Democratic elects to enact policies that are more aligned with Democratic voters. You get what I'm saying?
Primaries, but again, if we're talking about general elections where it's Democrat versus Republican, at that point, that argument falls flat because there has to be a choice made for who's going to take the reins of power. If you're talking about a primary where it's two Democrats running against each other to see who becomes the actual candidate in the general election, sure, that's fine. But at the end of the day, like, politics is about getting elected and about attaining that power. And if the farther left message doesn't get you power, then advocating for that is just not going to help anything. And you do have to, in his words, go with the party that's going to do the least harm or the most good, which, like I said before, is kind of a very flat way of looking at things considering how much legislation Barack Obama...
I think it's looking at things with like morality. I think it's like a ethical based ideology.
That's great, but first of all, not everyone shares the same set of ethics.
Fair.
And second of all, ethics are not very useful when it comes down to like survival. And with this election in particular, they're just not pragmatic always necessarily, right? You can be a pacifist all day long, but at the end of the day, we had to fight the Nazis. Like, I'm sorry, but killing is necessary in that regard to save other lives. So we can get into the bottomless pit about whether or not it's ethical, and I think critiquing politicians can be a good thing, but I think when it comes down to election time, sometimes you have to pick the lesser of two evils. Sometimes you have to suck it up and, acknowledge that.
Okay, the main reason that I'm so fearful to concede that he's not good for Democrats is because I feel as if he is doing... I usually, like, my biggest critique of conservatives and MAGA is their lack of ability to stop the glaze, to denounce when Trump does something wrong. Like that is like my biggest pet peeve when it comes to MAGA. Is like clearly Trump is. Go ahead.
Right, but how many Democrats do you know aren't willing to critique Obama or Biden?
Sure, absolutely.
Any Democrat you ask would say, yeah, I don't agree with how much he used drone strikes.
Right, but no
either of
conservative
those
will
sides.
say, no conservative, no MAGA in 2026, in April 2026, nobody from MAGA is critiquing Trump. You get what I'm saying? If you're still MAGA, you're a fully MAGA. And I think that the main point I'm trying to make is both parties make mistakes and should be open to criticism. And
Yeah, of course.
I don't think just because we don't live in a perfect society doesn't mean that you can't. I think in being pragmatic, like you said, in actuality, yes, does it have a negative effect? Yes. Do I think it's wrong? No.
That's fine. I can agree with that. I think Hassan is better fit for being in between elections in the news.
Okay.
Not in the news, but like as reporting on the news. That critiquing, between elections, okay, that's fine. You want to hold your politicians to a higher standard. When they do something wrong, you put that in the spotlight to make sure that they adjust before election time, if nothing else, right? But when it comes down to an election and the balance of power is, wobbling and it's going to go to one side or the other, I think it's downright irresponsible not to back the party that will either do the best job or cause the least harm. I think that's more unethical than anything else.
Because what do you think his message was for, like, about Kamala at that point in time? Like, what do you think his critiques that he was saying, like, what specific, like, I'm not sure if you can recall because there's been so much in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
But like, what is it? What were his critiques that were so
That
damaging?
she wouldn't condemn the genocide in Palestine.
Which I mean is a big deal. That's a big deal.
Not to most American voters.
Well, I mean, most American voters voted for Trump. Like, I don't think most American voters are smart.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, look, I get that where you stand on the Israel-Palestine thing. And I've even soured over Israel more so lately, and I was never fully Team Israel. I think it's become much more apparent how egregious some of the shit Netanyahu is doing is. But
So now that Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones are saying it, now you agree?
no, what are they saying?
I'm just teasing. But I'm just like, I think
I'm more pro-Israel than most people, or have been historically. I think I think Israel, quote unquote, has a right to defend itself is one of those things that comes off like a dog whistle to some people, but to the average person, myself included, it sounds like kind of like, shouldn't every country have a right to defend itself? Like,
sure, but I don't think that was, in actuality, I don't think that's what was happening. I don't think...
You don't, but the perspective, and it depends on what media you were consuming. I mean, it seems like Hamas started that war.
But again, see, that I disagree, because
That's fine. That's fine. I'm telling you what the average person thought. The average person.
Yeah, the average person is an idiot. We're not using the average person. We're saying in actuality, the war didn't.
We are using the average person.
No, the war didn't start on October the 7th. You feel me? It's been going on since the Nakba. You feel me? Like that's what I'm saying.
If I go and ask my dad, you're telling me that he's gonna know what the Nakba is?
No, but I'm saying don't be a victim of propaganda. Like, you feel me? Like, don't just because you're not fully knowledgeable, it doesn't mean that you're.
Victim of propaganda. What are you talking about? We're talking about an election here. We're talking about.
No, in that subject matter, I'm saying that it is propaganda to say that everything began on October the 7th, as if.
It's not even propaganda. It's just if you follow the logic given a limited set of information. If you don't know about the Nakba, it's really going to seem like the war started when 700 Hamas people came over, raped and murdered and kidnapped a bunch of people, and then Israel started bombing them in response. That seems like the start of the war if you don't know what the Nakba is or when it happened. Like, that's just... That's
The
fact.
entire
That's
the
what it is.
entire issue was it wasn't the amount of civilian death. Like, that's the main thing, is that we're just glossing over. Is the main issue, the main problem everyone
I'm
had.
not glossing over anything.
To say that Israel has the right to defend itself while they are actively doing a genocide is like brain broken. Like, that's what that's what bothers me. I feel like that is someone who is a victim of propaganda. If Israel is actively murdering civilians
My friend, you sound
in
like a victim of
mass,
propaganda
say it again.
but I said you sound like a victim of propaganda because to you it's an assumption that there's a genocide going on, whereas if you ask the average person, they don't refer to it as the genocide. They refer to
I
it
disagree.
as
I disagree. I think the
Israel-Palestine
average
war.
person, especially in 2026, does think. I think it's dwarfed by everything else going on in the world. But you don't think what Israel was
I think more
doing
people
was.
would refer to it as a genocide, but I think there's still a sizable portion of the population that just see it as a war because they're not informed.
That's I don't understand. Are you defending these people? I don't get it. Like,
No. I'm
like,
saying Hassan is bad because again, I appreciate you trying to drag this into the Israel-Palestine conflict, but that's not the be-all, end-all of the conversation. The conversation is Hassan a good or bad force for Democrats or for the general population, if you want to say that? And I say no, because he failed to endorse Kamala, because he's constantly critical of Democratic candidates who aren't far enough left.
And I would
because
disagree
he's-
because I think his journalism goes far beyond just that one election. I think in consistently pointing out issues in the Middle East, war crimes that America is committing, I think him bringing a lens to conflicts and going deeper into the information is necessary. Otherwise, we're all just a bunch of headline reading American public education individuals, and if you're just voting based off your very, very, very small echo chamber viewpoint, then you're not getting all of the appropriate information. You get what I'm saying? Like, if we're moving now to whether or not Hassan is net good for society or American politics, I would say net absolutely. That he is good because he.
Do you think Kamala would have been as lenient with Israel and have followed around Israel as much as Trump has?
That wasn't what we were saying though.
I'm asking that question now. Do you think that Kamala would have been as bad in terms of?
Okay, do you think Jill Stein would have been as bad?
You didn't answer my question. I'll answer your question afterwards.
But I'm saying that's the same argument. I'm saying if you're
No,
gonna.
it's not. You don't know what argument I'm making yet. Do you think Kamala would have been worse would have followed Israel even more than Donald Trump? Do you think she would have been even more favorable to Israel than Donald Trump?
No.
No, of course not. So, what the fuck good has it done?
That's so.
critiquing
But
Kamala
you're
ceaselessly
using
when
one
it's
subject
probably
matter
resulted
out
in
of.
more
He's
Palestinian
been a
deaths?
journalist for like 10 years and has pointed out.
All right, calling him a journalist is a little bit of a stretch. He sits and reads other people's articles.
I think journalism is bringing the information to the public eye. Like, I don't.
He's a reporter, maybe. I wouldn't necessarily call him a journalist.
Okay. A reporter. That's
What
fair.
investigations has he done?
Off the top of my head, I mean, investigation is knowing the information and presenting it to the public does make you a journalist, does it not?
I mean, it makes
Like-
you a reporter, but
A reporter isn't an opinionated person. A reporter is just like giving their
so he's
viewpoints.
a pundit, is what you're saying.
I don't know. I don't see how do you think he's net bad just from critique of Kamala during the election? Like
It's not just that. Do you think he's going to, if Gavin Newsom wins the primary for the 2028 election, do you think Hassan will endorse him?
I do think so. Especially considering some of after the like I said after the Atrioc interview, Hassan has seemed to be a little more open and accepting of Gavin Newsom.
All right, time will tell.
Time will tell for sure. But in terms of the subject matter being whether or not he is net good or net bad for society, I don't
I
think
we're in agreement that he's a net bad. I think we said
No, I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I don't think when is he on the right side or wrong side of history? With
Wrong
the
side of
general
history.
Okay. So when it comes to the Epstein files, you think that he's supportive of Epstein?
That's a whole other sentence that was unrelated to the sentence.
No, you're
So,
saying he's on the wrong side of history. And I'm saying in general, when
you
it
could be on
comes
the
to
wrong side of history without being on the wrong side of history on every single issue. Being
That
on
was
the
just
wrong
my
side of
first
history-
one. That was just my first one. You keep hyper focusing on the
Okay.
election from 2 years ago, and I can't bring up my subject matters that
Your question
just
is
anytime
fine.
I disagree with you, you can't just say like it doesn't matter.
Repeat the question. I'm sorry.
How do you think do you think he endorses Trump? Yes or no?
Probably not.
Right. Do you think he endorses Epstein? Yes or no?
I hope not.
Right.
No.
When it comes to Trump's actions throughout this administration, and do you think he's on the net positive or negative side of journalism? When it comes to the Strait of Hormuz being closed down, when it comes to Kristi Noem's actions, when it comes to Pam Bondi keeping all the files under wraps, do you think he is on the right side or wrong side of history?
Not
When it comes to Mark Zuckerberg's lying about giving $600 billion to America just to appease his handlers, just to appease Trump, do you think he's on the right side or wrong side of history? Like I'm saying that it's similar to October the 7th, we can sit and hyper focus on one individual event, or we can take everything in its totality. And that's what I'm saying. I think.
right. And if you take everything into totality,
All right, so take it
see
all
the
in totality.
tangible damage that he seemingly certainly didn't help the Democrats to win the 2024 election. So I would say wrong side of history.
That's one event. That's one event. When it comes to
Right,
our,
but it outweighs all the other things.
I highly disagree with that. In bringing a lens to, and I'm sitting here trying to tell you, and I brought up like multiple subject matters, and you keep going back to this one election that has been done. Actively right now, he's bringing a lens to Cuba and the sanctions that are being placed on Cuba. Do you think that's net?
Okay.
Right. Like it's.
Do you think is he going to endorse Democratic candidates?
No, it's not what he's going to do in the future. It's what he's doing right now. It's what I'm using facts. I'm bringing receipts. You're saying he is a net negative influence, and I'm disagreeing with that. Just based on things that have already happened, not things that have not happened yet. When he's defending AOC, when he's defending Ilhan Omar, when he's denouncing Tucker Carlson's viewpoints. Like, I don't understand how you're able to gloss over these things.
It's not glossing over them. It's what has more of an impact. I think Donald Trump.
No, not talking impact. I mean, impact. If we are talking impact, bringing a lens to the sanctions in Cuba, you think that's not a positive impact? Maybe not to you as an American, but to the Cubans, I think they would think that was a positive impact. When Ilhan Omar is told by Donald Trump to go back to her own country, and Hassan denounces that, and do you think that's a net positive or net negative impact? You feel me?
I think I know what you're saying. All right. So you're saying that outside the realm of politics, when he's bringing attention to these stories,
You don't think Ilhan Omar is a politician?
of course she's a politician, but I'm saying like when he's not playing the political game, when he's not arguing in favor of or against politicians, do I think that him just, providing information on a subject is good. Yeah, I think that's generally good in most situations. I think Johnny Harris is good on YouTube, Veritasium.
All right, Zoran Mamdani. Zoran. A lot of people say that Hassan is a reason that Zoran. I don't think he's the sole reason. I think he ran a great campaign, but a lot of people are introduced to Zoran Mamdani through Hassan. You feel me?
Self-proclaimed socialist in a plus 30 district. Yes, that was the original point. Was Zoran Mamdani is left enough for Hassan, and I like Zoran. It sounds like he's doing a good job. I don't live in New York. I hope he does well, even if he was on the right. I hope that New Yorkers are.
So I brought at least 10 different subject matters, all politics, all net positives. How are you? What is your return? What is your response? What is your rebuttal?
All right. So when someone attacked Ilhan Omar, how did Hassan help someone get elected because of that?
I don't understand the question. What are you saying?
Exactly. So
the subject matter was he a net positive or net negative for society?
I'm not done.
But you're that does what that is that in the realm?
When he defends AOC, when he defends her honor, how is that helping her get elected currently?
Is that a positive or a negative? That is what I'm saying. That is the subject matter. 1-to-1, binary. We're keeping it simple because we keep
right,
falling.
But you can't take impact out of the equation. You're trying to simplify the equation to say if there's no tangible results ever, then is it good or bad to bring attention to things? And it's like that's not that question almost doesn't make sense.
But he's not a politician. He's a fucking a YouTuber. You feel me?
But he's playing the role of a pundit. He's advocating for or against politicians. He's not portraying himself as neutral.
Based on morals, based on ethics. And just because there's so much money in politics and that we don't run things based on morals and ethics doesn't mean that he's wrong. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying if the message is positive and it's not fully heard or fully if it's not having his message is positive. That's what I'm saying. Like that.
Yeah, but if the result is not positive, then I don't.
But I mean, you brought up Kamala, and I raised you fucking Mamdani. You feel me? So I feel like they cancel each other out. So like and then I brought up multiple.
You think the president of the United States and the mayor of New York cancel each other out? That is wild.
I think he had more positive impact on getting Mamdani elected than he did on denouncing. I think there was more. It's not like he solely didn't get Trump, or that I don't think he solely was a reason like Trump got elected. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't think him critiquing Kamala for some of her policies and some of her actions is the reason Trump got elected. But I think that it was easier for New Yorkers to accept a Muslim man being their New York mayor because of Hassan's framing of them. And so like for you to, I feel like it's disingenuous, the argument on your side, because it's not solely on him to get Trump elected. Neither is it solely on him.
It's not solely on him. But do you think he plays some sort of role? I mean, by virtue of the
Who do you think is more impactful, Joe Rogan or Hassan?
Oh, Joe Rogan for sure.
Right. So like, what does that matter?
That's
Like,
not because first of all, the question isn't how good or how bad is he. The question is net positive or net negative.
right.
So we're already centering around zero. Secondly, the question is, for me, do I think that Hassan is going to be a positive in helping Democrats get elected in the future? And the answer is I don't necessarily think so. He hasn't demonstrated to me that he would support a center-left moderate Democrat to combat against the Republican Party, which is consistently, not just Donald Trump, but well before Donald Trump, been outright harmful to the U.S. for decades now.
I don't. But the subject matter is is he a positive or negative influence? That is the subject matter. Is he a positive or
not
negative?
helping? If he's
And I don't want to talk about future things that haven't happened yet. Just based on.
capturing, all right. If he's capturing this left-wing audience,
Okay.
driving them further left, and disincentivizing them from voting in elections for Democratic candidates.
In what manner is he disincentivized? When is he telling people not to vote? In what manner?
When he equates the two parties and says they're the same, why would you vote for either candidate when you feel that way?
I disagree, and that's your take from it. But that doesn't mean that's how people are going to take it. He literally in the video I sent you, he said yes. In order to not get Trump, you need to elect Kamala. But he then went on to say that doesn't mean that Kamala is completely innocent, and I don't think that is a wrong thing to say. Go ahead.
In terms of percentage of how much he talked about the stuff wrong with Kamala versus whether or not you should vote for her. Do you want to do that calculation real quick? We listened to like 1 minute. How much time did he spend talking about why you should vote for Kamala versus why he's fine just, attacking her?
I mean, we watched 45 seconds of a 30-minute video. I don't think
45 seconds. I bet you he spent less than 5 seconds saying you should vote for Kamala.
What? That he's directly asked. He's answering the question.
Yeah.
And he started by saying, yes, you have to vote.
You're acting like he's giving equal amount of airtime or more airtime to supporting her.
No, I think you're
attacking
too black-pilled. You're too destiny-brained. Like you're not listening to what I'm saying. And I brought up so many different subject matters. His denouncement of Tucker Carlson, his debate with Charlie Kirk, his denouncement of Candace Owens, Tulsi Gabbard. Like he is he's combating these really impactful, like people who have genuine impact on our day-to-day politics. He's combating with them. And you're saying that he's not a net.
I think that's good stuff. I think that is good stuff.
And you're saying just because he critiqued Kamala and didn't fully endorse her.
Not just Kamala. It's he has a history of critiquing Democratic candidates.
No. You got to bring receipts, brother. I love you to death. But I've brought up Tucker Carlson, Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens, Jesse Waters, Donald Trump. He critiques Donald Trump's all of his actions through the last 2 years. I'm consistently bringing up like positive viewpoints on his end. And I keep asking you to bring up how his entire totality of journalism.
Because what I'm saying is that all those arguing or, watching a video of someone and then reacting to it and saying, oh, that's bad, and, making jokes about it or whatever net good that does is invalidated when you say that both parties are the same and you won't endorse the Democratic candidates.
Oh, I think that's not true to say both parties are the same. I don't think that's true. I think you're.
I don't think it is true either.
No, I'm saying I think you're condensing, you're condensing an entire nuanced conversation into just one tight little knit sentence that I don't think fully encapsulates what it is he's saying. And then if the subject...
Why does he say it at all? Why does he say it at all? Because again, he has a very large left-wing audience.
Because that is what's wrong with politics. The blind faith in one side or the other is my entire...
Blind faith. You can have a nuanced opinion and still think that.
But you're saying he can't have a nuanced opinion, because he will.
No, of course he can have a nuanced opinion. But to have a nuanced opinion and then say both sides are the same is straight up toxic.
I think if he said something, saying like, if in one specific clip that you see where he equates the two political parties.
He tweets about it all the time. There's tweets, there's clips. It wasn't a one-off offense. It wasn't like someone. Had
Do
to
you
go
think he's
digging
left
for
or
that
right
shit.
leaning?
I think he's very far left-leaning and authoritarian.
Right.
Frankly.
Authoritarian is fucking crazy. Authoritarian is crazy.
he's
I think you're just
openly
rage
talking
baiting at
about
this
it.
point. I think you're just rage baiting. I think we lost a plot and you're just
No,
rage baiting at this point.
He talked about it on the Leftovers podcast. He's not necessarily democratic.
Again, the subject matter is good or bad. And I brought multiple subject matters up. I think him going to debate Charlie
And I
Kirk.
keep saying that I don't know how relevant they are. You can say I brought up multiple.
But you're not saying what makes them irrelevant? That's crazy to me. Like why wouldn't
Impact, mofo.
when
Impact. What's the result? What are the results?
what is the result of denouncing Trump
What is the result of criticizing Tucker Carlson to a far left audience that already hates Tucker Carlson?
I don't agree with that. I'm like, for example, if
What do you
you
mean you don't agree with it? It's a
because I'm using like a normie. I'm thinking from the lens of a normie. You're thinking from the lens of saying that everyone in his audience is far left, and I don't agree with that. I'm not far left, and I watch some of his videos. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about normie.
So
If you are watching,
when did Hassan awaken your hatred for Tucker Carlson?
I don't think Hassan awakens my hatred for any of these people. What I'm saying is, so you're saying you would rather not have a positive influence voice against these negative things that are happening.
What?
If Trump calls Ilhan Omar an animal and Hassan denounces that, is that good or bad?
I think that's baseline humanity. Yes, I think we should all denounce that.
Right. When Tucker Carlson is actively hurting Americans by adding sugar to Trump's campaign, and fucking Hassan is actively calling Tucker Carlson out for his different contrasting viewpoints, do you think that's a positive or a negative?
That was the most bejumbled question I've ever heard.
It was emotional. It was emotional. That's why I was.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, how are you? I'm bringing up multiple viewpoints, and you keep going back to he
You
critiqued.
keep saying that. I'm bringing up multiple viewpoints.
Yeah, because you're only talking about one, and I already feel like
Results? I feel like that's an important viewpoint.
He's not the sole reason that Trump gets elected. That's why I don't think that fucking matters. I think it matters as a day-to-day. Listen, on the day-to-day, when a new subject matter comes up, when a new conflict happens around the world, do you think his viewpoint is a positive one or a negative one? Is he on the right side?
It's motivating to vote on these issues.
Answer my question, and then we'll get into your question. I'm not talking about voters. One thing at a time. When a new subject matter arises, when a new world conflict, when a new world event happens,
Yeah.
do you think Hassan is on the right or wrong side of history? Do you think Hassan is typically on the right side of that subject matter or on the wrong side of that subject matter? That is what I'm saying.
Generally, probably the right side of the subject.
Yes,
matter.
and so we'll stop right there. If you are a plebeian, if you are a nobody who just reads the headlines and you're going to YouTube to have a better understanding of what's happening with a world conflict, I think that Hassan is a net positive because he will denounce authoritarianism, evil, whatever the negative subject matter is, and then bring a positive light, he'll explain whatever subject matter is with detail that allows the person to be more informed of the subject matter. So in the
Right.
general day-to-day, when we're talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene, when we're talking about Tulsi Gabbard, when we're talking about whatever world event may happen, I find that he not only is on the right side of history, but brings up subject matters that I may not have known in his journalism. That is my interpretation of who Hassan is.
That's
I
great.
don't.
And as long as he doesn't play a role in sabotaging elections for
That's
candidates,
what I find to be so destiny pilled. That's where I find you to be so destiny pilled.
it's
I
not
don't.
just Destiny, dude. Take a look around Twitter. It's
Twitter's.
right.
You're going from Destiny to Twitter. You're not winning that argument, brother. I love you, but you're saying that
see,
Twitter and
Twitter-
Destiny are the like front page news, or like to say that Twitter is full of like positive influences.
It's called X, the everything app. Everything happens on X.
That's so insane. You doubled. You went
Yeah, look,
from.
I think Twitter can be a decent gauge to see.
Yeah, if I want to
what
see
the
Charlie
popular-
Kirk get shot in the neck unredacted without blurriness, yeah, sure. But I don't think Twitter is a good place to go and get your politics. So you're saying you're going to go to.
I
So
didn't say to get your politics from there. I said it's a good like litmus test to see what people.
Twitter's a terrible place. You think it's a good litmus test? That's fucking insane.
I think the views on there are more extreme than the average person, but I think like if you're just trying to figure out where people are landing on a certain issue, left or right, it's not the worst thing. It's more right wing probably skews, but you know, you can still like get a gauge of what average people are thinking.
So do you think like Hassan's like equivalent to like a Fox News? Do you think him and Jesse Waters and fucking
No, I think Fox News is entrenched with the state. I think Hassan would like to be, but
why?
I don't know.
What makes you say that?
He literally was like going on a press tour, trying to get in all these magazines and stuff to have like photo ops done.
What? So positive publicity makes you want to be part of the state? I don't understand that. He went to Cuba. He went
but
to.
He's also interviewing politicians. He's trying to like clearly get more involved in politics.
Because he's doing journalism, which you say he doesn't do. Interviewing politicians is a bad thing? What are you talking about?
No, it's not that interviewing politicians is a bad thing. There's an incentive there. All right, look, I can't get into all this right now.
I disagree
You win
with-
the debate.
Oh my God, you are an infuriating person to talk to. Are you about to leave right now?
I'm getting hungry.
I fucking hate you. And every time I start to like back you into a corner that you realize like, oh man, like he's
It's
making
been
good points.
2 hours.
Let me check out of this
Yeah.
conversation and go
You
eat.
have more stamina than me. I don't know what you want me to say. My room is.
It's
dark.
all.
I'm
It's your
just
good
awake.
diet and exercise.
I know. I'm saved once again by my physique. So I don't
Oh
know.
my God, dude.
Again, results
Oh my
matter.
God, dude.
Results are what matter.
No, you got to give me 15 more minutes. Give me 15 more minutes of real like debate here, because I'm on a roll and I don't want to check out of this.
All right.
So
Go ahead.
again, when it comes to the general subject matter, I find that Hassan is on the right side of history. I don't think it's his job to get Kamala elected. Do I think that he may have had some negative impact? Sure. I will concede there and saying that in not full-throating endorsing Kamala, and that in saying that she's the lesser of two evils and critiquing some of her viewpoints, did he help to get her elected? No. I will concede there. Do I think that he is on the wrong side of history when it comes to the general subject matter? No, I don't think he's on the wrong side of history. Would you trust the words of Hassan or Asmongold? Those were your two only.
Hassan for sure.
Say it again.
Hassan for sure.
Right. So my whole point that I'm saying is maybe I will concede that he could have done more to get Kamala elected, and that maybe at some points in time he should have kept his mouth shut.
Democrats in general, it's not just Kamala. It's supporting Democratic candidates, including center-left ones. Not just the Zoran Mamdanis and AOCs of the world, but center-left Democrats as well.
Morally,
Cory
I
Booker,
find out
Gavin
AOC, like, but that's what I'm saying. AOC and Mamdani are like two of the old, like, how many good politicians are out there? You feel me?
Now you're moving the goalposts. To say
No, I'm not moving the goalposts. I'm saying, like, he's endorsing good people. And just because you're willing to concede and just agree with whoever is in power right now, like that, you get what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't, he's standing on his beliefs. And I don't think that he's wrong for that.
Simplifying dramatically. So, for one thing, it sounded like you were trying to say anyone that'll toe the party line.
Right.
Which, again, we're in crisis mode. We need people that will toe the party line to vote against Trump, to get him impeached, to do whatever, the 25th Amendment, whatever the case is. So you can call
I don't
it
think
whatever
fully
you call it.
educating people, because I think that's where it comes down to, is fully educating people
Again,
on the subject
educating
matters.
people's not bad, but again, we have to look at what are the results. When you talk about is he a net good or a net bad, the question is what is the tangible impact? Educating people's good, but if that education just leaves them disincentivized to vote, it doesn't benefit anyone.
But again, in no manner is he doing anything different when he's educating you on Trump versus educating you on Kamala. Like, that's what I'm saying. I get that you don't like his critiques.
Because he's not just educating you on Kamala. He's making this false equivalence that both parties are the same, or at least too similar for his liking. Instead of saying, hey, we are in crisis mode. We need to get Trump out. This is a disaster. He's corroding democratic norms. He's trying to literally install himself as a dictator. That should be the message. If you want to say, okay, Kamala also took AIPAC money, that's fine. Or whoever, right? Gavin Newsom. Oh, Gavin Newsom, okay, he takes some AIPAC money. He's not trying to fucking destroy the democratic process. That should be concern numero uno. And if you're not helping Democrats get elected right now, then you're not helping at all. You're helping the regime. Because what the regime wants is for less people to go out and vote. That's the whole point of the Save America Act. How much does Hassan cover the Save America Act and say that this is vile and needs to be stopped and that we need to completely stack
Why does that have to be
Democrats?
his wheelhouse? That's what I'm saying. Like, why aren't the subject matters
Because he's playing politics.
But he's not. He's going over the subject matters that he's familiar with. And so when it comes to Pam Bondi and Kristi Noem and Tucker Carlson and Pam Bondi and Ilhan Omar and AOC, he is on the right side of history, which means I think he is a net positive. And I'm trying to get you to
having an opinion that's on the right side of history, as you put it.
But all he did was have an opinion on Kamala, and you're saying that one wrong opinion in your viewpoint.
No, it's not. It's not just about having an opinion. It's about voicing constantly your opinion and advocating for or not advocating for certain candidates. If you truly just want to have an opinion, that's fine. Keep it to yourself. If you believe that Donald Trump is bad for America and that he needs to be either impeached or 25th Amendmented out, then
so why do we go over his entire portfolio during the first administration, during Trump's first administration? Like, you keep bringing up just this one point in history.
Let's look at the elections that happened, the midterms during the 2018 elections, and see what he did that was tangibly good or bad for helping, good politicians get elected, quote unquote good. Which, by the way, you used that earlier, and I I hate that because good is subjective. But I mean, if you have evidence that he helped get quote unquote good politicians elected during 2018, then by all means bring that up. But I am sincerely doubtful.
Like I said, I vary in terms of my news intake as of late, but I can't comprehend when he's denouncing Benjamin Netanyahu and bringing a lens to the negative things that Benjamin Netanyahu does. When he brings
And is he convincing the people that watch him to vote for candidates who would actually do more than Trump?
Mamdani.
Helping him get elected. What is Mamdani going to do to
Did he say don't vote for Kamala? Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, that's like, if you can find a video where he says full throat don't vote for Kamala, then I'll concede.
Disincentivize people from voting when you're equating both parties.
That may be
You're
a
making
result
people
from an
believe-
ignorant person, but that solely doesn't get rid of everything else that he has done, which in my opinion is bring
Tangible results do matter way more than just
tangible results, but it's not his job to get Kamala elected. And if
It's not his job to get her elected, but it's his responsibility as a citizen to help push for the candidate that he thinks would do better.
which was Jill
And he
Stein.
failed to do that, and actively caused harm, arguably, which is the whole thing that we're debating here. Like, if someone's, was quote unquote on the right side of history all this time, but then you find out that they have a bunch of sex slaves in their basement, you'd still say they're a bad person. It doesn't matter what their views are.
But that's why we said net positive or net negative. And I'm saying
Right,
in
so what is
totality, and I've brought up so many
So what have his actions brought us? What is the good?
a lens on the Epstein files, a more in-depth look into Benjamin Netanyahu's egregious treatment of the Palestinian people, in-depth look into Tucker Carlson's history and fucking in-depth look into AOC and Ilhan Omar and where they came from and their positive influence on society. Like
So educating people on those things, and then the negative side is that he doesn't help Democrats get elected and concede.
Mamdani is a Democrat.
Let me finish. So he educates people on the one side. That's the good side, the little angel on your right shoulder, I guess. And then the little devil on the other side is not helping / sabotaging Democrats during elections. Which one outweighs the other? I would say that the education doesn't necessarily matter, especially we've seen what happens when Democrats lose all three the House, the Senate, and the presidency.
But how can you say
I'd say that
education
the
doesn't
education
matter?
rate
If
was
you're a
not
Tucker
flat.
Carlson viewer and you hadn't seen Tucker Carlson in the light that Hassan puts him in and become more educated, then
I'm sorry, but I doubt there's a whole lot of crossover from Tucker Carlson's audience to Hassan.
I don't know. I feel
I
like
just don't think algorithms are pushing Hassan videos on Tucker Carlson.
if Tucker Carlson's name is in the video, then I think it's absolutely possible for Tucker Carlson viewers to get the Hassan viewpoint of Tucker Carlson. Or if you are a middle of the road normie who doesn't know what the fuck is going on in the world, I think if you were to watch Hassan's videos, are you going to vote left or right?
Yeah, I mean, look, potentially, if there's evidence to support the fact that Hassan has turned people from Tucker Carlson viewers, right-wingers, into moderate left Democrats, then yeah, I'd say that's a net positive. But I don't know what evidence there is for that.
And it's, oh my God, this is so crazy. This is so fucking insane.
By the way, your time limit's coming up. Oh.
All right, I'm done. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's waste of time. I feel like I'm arguing with the MAGA. Like it's just like
Really, really great that we added that extra 15 minutes. I think that went pretty well.
I think you're a rage baiter, and that you were only able to bring up like 2 subject matters that I immediately refuted, and then just stuck to those.
I think you kept saying I've brought up multiple viewpoints.
Yeah, how many people
When-
did I name? And current events that are
Yeah, but
directly
again,
related
that
to
is
them.
all
You're saying when I bring up Pam
invalidated
Bondi,
by
you don't know what it is I'm talking about. When I bring up Christy Nome, you don't understand
I
what
know.
I'm saying.
You're
Yeah,
acting like
but
one of
you're
the-
pretending like you don't understand that, like as if
No. It's not that. It's that he's also not the only person covering those people. Like the Netanyahu one, like he probably has done more to inform people about Netanyahu. But Pam Bondi and Christy Noam, they're on the Daily Show twice a week. Well, they were before they got fired.
that does that
So
take away
I
from
mean-
his positive influence? His viewership is still like hundreds of thousands of people. You feel me? So regardless, I'm talking about using the subject matters and his stance on said subject matters. I'm saying he is a positive influence, and that when a new current event happens, that he will most likely be on the positive side of history. And you cannot get past the fact that he critiqued Kamala, and that some subject matter.
Kamala. It's equating the two parties. But okay, let's say he educates a bunch of people, and none of those people go out and vote. What good does it do? Anyway?
That is, what are you talking about? Like that's not a realistic thing. What if he educates people and they do go out and vote? That doesn't make
That would
sense.
be nice. But so the question is he more likely to get people to go out and vote, or less likely to get people?
If you're a political commentator, I would assume that you're more likely to get people to vote than not vote.
Right,
What do you mean?
Unless you're equating the two parties. Because that is going to disincentivize.
You just
anyone
keep
to
saying
vote because
equating the
if
two
you're-
parties, and I disagree. I don't think that's what was happening. That's crazy to me. That
literally says both parties are the same. If you don't think the exact same fucking thing would happen under Kamala, you're retarded, he said. That's a direct quote. I'm
yeah, with
actually proud of
that's
myself.
out of context. That's a specific subject matter.
Right, but if it's the only one that he cares about and he hyper focuses his audience to care about that one.
But you're saying he doesn't get Democrats elected, and he helped to get Mamdani elected. You feel me? Like that's what I'm saying is like you have to
Great, but again, that's a New York Democratic socialist compared to the president of the United States, where he conceivably did tangible harm, where I don't think he's going to do any good for any of the Democrats in the midterms. I mean, I'm sure he'll advocate for AOC and Bernie Sanders again, but what other Democratic candidates is he going to endorse? Like what battlegrounds districts is he going to help a Democrat get elected?
I mean, I guess we have to wait and see. That's why I want to stay within things that have already happened, which is why I keep bringing up.
I will monitor his X account very closely.
So do you agree that he had a positive influence in terms of educating people on Kristi Noem and Pam Bondi?
More so than the Daily Show, I wouldn't know. I don't watch his.
Why does it have to? I'm not. That's not. We're not. That's whataboutism, bro. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about the Daily Show. We're talking about just Hassan. Just Hassan.
He's probably educated people a lot about Netanyahu.
In a positive or negative light?
Positive light for society, negative light for Netanyahu.
When it comes to ICE, do you think he is, when it came to Alex Preddy and Renee Good, do you think he's in the positive side of history or bad side of history?
Hopefully positive side of history.
Right. So I keep bringing up multiple subjects. When it comes to that loser who went to Minnesota to do the Somali daycare fraud.
Yeah, he's probably on the right side of history. Here's a question for you. and this
when
is-
it comes to clavicular's looks maxing and the negative impact it has on people who enjoy clavicular because he will smash his face with a hammer in order to make sure he looks good, and he says, hey, that's fucking stupid. Like, do you think that's a positive or a negative influence on society?
I'd say that's soy boy behavior to critique clavicular for his Chad behavior. All right, hold on. One last question to close out. So you're saying that Hassan is good because he's educating people about these topics, and he's on the right side of history.
Educating voters.
Destiny
He's
is?
educating
Do you think
voters.
Destiny is
He's
more than
educating
positive?
voters.
And what about Destiny? Do you think Destiny's educating voters?
Destiny isn't one. That's again whataboutism, because we're talking
I'm
about.
just asking. No.
No, that's
This is
whataboutism.
my
That's textbook
I'm just asking
whataboutism.
personal opinion.
That's textbook whataboutism. And I don't think Destiny is always on the right side of history. I don't think so. Hassan is always necessarily on the right side of history. I would argue that I find Hassan. Do you think Hassan or Destiny is more moral?
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a toughie.
No, it's not a toughie at all. It's not a toughie by any means.
Yeah. I think it actually is kind of a toss-up based on my perspectives on both, but you know. All right, shout-outs to Destiny. I might see if he'll do a debate review if he doesn't get an aneurysm from watching this.
Oh my god, I'm losing my mind. Everyone around me is just immoral and brain broken. It kills me.
What? All right. I am very hungry, so.
All right, get out of
You
here.
won that. That was a great debate. I think you won.
It doesn't feel like a win. If anything, I'm more stressed.
Welcome to debate, brother.
Oh my god. All right, I have
I'm not just saying that because I want to get off the call.
Thank you. I have an optimistic view of the future.
That's awesome. I don't know what that means. It feels like it's supposed to be a dig, but hell yeah.
All right, bro. All right, hit me up. Be safe, brother.
Will do. I love chatting with you always.
Always.
And, you know, take care. I think you could put up a good fight either way. Love you, brother, and I will talk to you.
Be safe, big dog.
You too. Peace.
Peace. All right, I'm done with politics for today. I'm over it. I can't do this anymore. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.